the top 10 small forwards of the 2022 NBA season so far. I'm just going to get right into the list with my honorable mention, and there is only one, being Norman Powell. Powell was very, very close to actually making this list, but ultimately I had to cut him and leave him down here as the pseudo number 11, just an honorable mention. The dude is playing very well considering he is out of position on a Portland team that is having a whole bunch of issues this year. But at the end of the day, his defensive struggles and the fact that Portland is just really, really not good was enough for me to put him down here, with him as the third option on the team. Had he been the first option, or even the second option, I might have considered having him at number 10, but the fact that he's only like the number 3, and maybe even number 4 guy once everyone else comes back with how Fernie Simons has been playing, I just can't justify having him in my top 10, considering he's been good, but not amazing, you know what I mean? So at the actual number 10 position, I have Brandon Ingram, and you may be thinking, I know Brandon Ingram is a pretty good player, and he should be higher than number 10, right? Well, you're actually wrong, because at the very least, Brandon Ingram does not seem to be aware that he's that good of a player. He is playing down from his usual standards, and the stats seem pretty good at first. He's averaging a career high in assists, although it's only by 0.2. He's averaging a career high in rebounds, and his points per game are less than a full point lower than his career high. So Ingram seems to be doing his thing this year, right? Well, the problem comes from his efficiency, and I know his team sucks. We're all waiting for Zion to come back, but Ingram is just not stepping up to the plate in Zion's absence. The Pelicans have been absolutely awful this season, and Ingram's efficiency of 45, 35, and 83, while not bad, are all below his usual marks, and that's just not cutting it for this team. The Pelicans have not been good, and Ingram does play a part in that. And then once again, you're looking at a dude who's just not a very good defender. He's out of position. He should probably really be a power forward at his height. He's just a little too slow, and not lanky's not the word. I don't know, he's too big to be covering fast small forwards, you know what I'm saying? He just doesn't move fast enough for that. But there he is at the small forward position, and he's just not getting the job done. So I have to put Brandon Ingram down here at only number 10. Now, moving on to number 9, I have a player who was very difficult for me to rank. I'm a big fan of him personally, although every time I see him have a good game, it hurts me inside as a Sixers fan. This is Mikal Bridges at number 9. 12, 4, and 2 are not stats that remotely jump out at you when you look at Mikal Bridges, alright? You might see him and think he's just a role player, and in some ways he is, but he also happens to be the best defensive player on one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA, and his shooting percentages are incredible across the board. 52, 40, 85 shooting splits, and he is a very key component to this Phoenix Suns team. They would not be the contender that they are without Mikal Bridges, and especially his defense and the floor spacing he provides. His offense is starting to branch out a little bit more this season. He's taking a career high in shots. He's not quite scoring a career high in points, however, but he is just generally having a phenomenal season, and oh my gosh, Elton Brand, how the hell did you let us trade this guy away? We traded him away for nothing. Mikal Bridges could be on the Sixers right now. It makes me so upset just thinking about it. So we're going to move on to number 8, which is Chris Middleton. And Middleton is having, by his standards, a little bit of a down season. He's putting up 19, 6, and 5, which are nice numbers for anyone. The Bucks are winning a whole lot. He's a positive defender, but his shooting splits of 43, 38, and 88, while good for most players, are a bit less impressive than what we have come to expect when we see Chris Middleton play. So I've only got him down here at number 8 because of his mild shooting struggles. The dude's probably not quite going to be an all-star this season. The East is stronger than ever, but he has been a very good player. I'm not trying to say Middleton's been bad, just that we expect a little bit more of him from a dude who I believe had a 50-40-90 season just a few years ago. I'm sorry, he came very close. He was 49.7% from the field. That's how close he was to a 50-40-90 season 2 years ago. We expect him to be a little bit more efficient than he has been, especially with Giannis playing as incredibly as he has been playing this season. Arguably the MVP, I can speak, favorite at this point. So Chris Middleton is all the way down here at only number 8. Maybe you think he should be a little bit higher, but that is where I'm going to place him. And at number 7, I'm going to go with Gordon Hayward, someone who I think is having a very underrated season, despite playing on a pretty good Hornets team that everyone seems to be talking about. But all they are talking about is LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, and this has led Terry Rozier, and especially Gordon Hayward, to be very underrated. In a strange turn of events, Gordon Hayward is, I believe, leading the Hornets starting lineup in games played. He has played in 41 games this season, which might be every game the team has played, and small forwards, just quick side tangent here, have been crippled by injuries this year. Like, almost every dude on this list has played like 30 games or less. The next couple guys after this, not the next guy, but like numbers like 3, 4, and 5 on my list have all played less than 30 games. So I'm not holding games played too far against guys, but this is a little bit of a factor that again helps me put Gordon Hayward up there. He's averaging 17, 5, and 4, being a decent playmaker for a team that is pretty dang good and has a lot of playmaking. They just have a fantastic offense, and Gordon Hayward is an underrated part of that. His shooting efficiency is some of the best of his career, 47, 39, 86 shooting splits. He is probably a neutral defender. I don't know if it's fair to call him a positive, although the help around him is all awful, so he may look worse than he is on the defensive end, but at the very least, he is a neutral defender while being a very good and very efficient offensive player, and I think his impact on the Charlotte Hornets this year has really been underrated, because when LaMelo Ball went out with injuries, when other guys on the team have gone out with injuries, Gordon Hayward has been the rock that has kept this Hornets team moving, has kept them in the playoff race, and kept them just chugging along and being a solid team. He does not get the credit he deserves for how good Charlotte has been so far this year, and that is why I'm going to put him up here at number 7. And he was very, very close to being number 6, but at the end of the day, because of defense and wins, I had to give the number 6 spot to Andrew Wiggins. A few years ago, this would have been hysterical to suggest that Andrew Wiggins is a top 6 power forward in the NBA, but this man has finally found his role in the league on the Golden State Warriors, and he is fantastic. First of all, you gotta talk about his defense. Draymond Green is the best defender on the Warriors, but Andrew Wiggins, as a one-on-one lockdown dude, has been pretty dang close. He is a really, really good defensive player, should probably make an all-defense team this year, although I don't know if I would give it to him over Mikal Bridges. It's real close, but if I had to choose between the two of them, probably give it to Bridges by a hair. But Andrew Wiggins has been a fantastic defensive player, absolutely fantastic, and meanwhile, on offense, he's arguably having the best season of his career. 19, 4, and 2 are not amazing stats, but it's not like he needs to score a ton when playing next to Steph Curry and Jordan Poole, who's also been very solid this season. Meanwhile, his efficiency of 48% from the field, 42% from 3, and 71% from the free throw line. That free throw percentage is actually pretty bad. But the other efficiency, though, like the three-point percentage, wow. Who knew this dude a few years ago? If you told anybody that Andrew Wiggins, who is still only a career 35% three-point shooter, and that has been massively boosted by this season and last season, you told anybody when he was in Minnesota he was going to become some kind of three-point sniper, a dude shooting 42% from 3, they would have laughed at you. They would have laughed in your face, but here we are. Andrew Wiggins is a fantastic 3-and-D rotation player for the Golden State Warriors, and that is why I am putting him up here at number 6. Now, getting into the top 5, I think this one's going to make some people angry. I really do, because he's been getting a lot of love this season, although I'm not totally sure why. I have Paul George at my number 5 spot on the list, and I'm sure a lot of you thought he was going to be higher, and you people are wrong. Let me tell you why. Paul George has what I would call the Brandon Ingram situation this season. First of all, his efficiency is bad, and that's actually the biggest thing. I don't know why I said first of all. The big thing with Paul George this year is that his efficiency has just sucked. 25, 7, and 6 are very good all-star numbers. He should be an all-star, although he has only played 26 games, which even by, the small forward standards, I told you there's a lot of dudes missed a lot of games. That's not a lot of games played this year. Like, he's barely played half the season. And in those games, he is only shooting 42, 32, 88 percentages. The free throw percentage is nice, obviously, but 42% from the field and 32% from three from Paul George? Those are not the numbers we expect. This is a 38% career three-point shooter, and he's taking 8 threes a game at 32%. 21 shots a game for 25 points is not good. 42% from the field is not good. The man is legitimately an inefficient scorer this year. And that is a big deal for the Clippers. Even when he has played, we were expecting some kind of MVP Paul George season. And I think people said that so much in the preseason that they're believing it now without actually looking at the numbers. Because Paul George, as good as he has been, is clearly not some kind of top-tier all-star level player this year. The Clippers need Kawhi, and Paul George is proving it. He plays best next to another star. He needs those open shots Kawhi was creating, and although his playmaking has been good, and he hasn't sucked by any means, he's still a positive defender, the games missed, combined with the terrible inefficiency, leads me to put Paul George at only number 5, behind Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. And I'm sure a bunch of you are already furious. You can't believe that Jaylen Brown's this high. And I gotta tell you people, I have no idea what everyone's problem is with Jaylen Brown. This is coming from a Sixers fan, mind you, okay? I pray that we manage to trade Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown or someone as good as him. He is fantastic this year. I don't know why everyone on the Celtics seems to want him gone. All the Celtics fans are like, oh, he can't fit with Tatum, blah, blah, blah. He's holding Tatum back. I'd rather have Marcus Smart than Jaylen Brown. Like, what is wrong with you people? This man is a clear-cut all-star this season, and I have no idea why he's getting all this hate. 25, 7, and 3 are Jaylen Brown's stats this year, and he is shooting 46, 38, 78 percentages. This is an efficient, fantastic scorer while also being the best defender on the Boston Celtics. Yes, I said it! I said it, Marcus Smart fanboys. Jaylen Brown is a better defender than Marcus Smart. Accept it. It's clearly true. I have no idea why this man gets so underrated. I have no idea, but he's a fantastic defender. He can score at all 3 levels. He gets to the rim. He gets to the free throw line, although he could do it a little bit more for sure. He's still more consistent with him than Tatum. He shoots threes. He does everything. He does everything you could possibly want a dude to do, and I do not understand why he is not appreciated more. He is arguably been better than Jason Tatum in both this season and last season, although I will not say that he has. It has been very close. He's a better defender. That's pretty much it. They're pretty similar in everything else. Tatum's a better playmaker, a little bit better of a shooter, but like they're very close. Jaylen Brown is the best defensive player on that team. He realistically is another dude who should be in the all-defense conversation this year. He really is a great defensive player. And gosh, I would love if we somehow traded Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown. That would make me absurdly happy. I'd love to send that punk to Boston and have him deal with their fans. Sorry, I'm not going to turn this into a Boston rant. This isn't a Sixers video, but Jaylen Brown is a great player, and he's very underrated. He has been better than Paul George this season, and that is why I have him at number 4. And I really considered having him number 3 over Jimmy Butler, but I couldn't quite bring myself to do it because Jimmy is still great. He is such a good player. The difference between him and Jaylen Brown for me is the playmaking. Jimmy is averaging 23, 6, and 5, 50% from the field, 87% from the free throw line, and a god-awful 25% from 3. Seriously, Jimmy, I don't know when this man completely forgot how to shoot threes. He could make them on the Sixers. He could make them on the T-Wolves. I have no idea what happened, but he has been an awful three-point shooter since getting to Miami, but it doesn't matter because he does everything else fantastic. He's averaging 2 steals a game to go along with those great numbers. He's very efficient getting to the rim. He gets to the free throw line quite a bit. He's very efficient from there. He is the best playmaker on the team in Miami, and every time he plays, they just look so much better. With all the injuries, all the people in and out of the lineup that Miami has dealt with this season, Jimmy Butler makes them look like a legitimate playoff team, and when he is not on the floor, they look like crap. It's really that simple. It is really that simple. Sadly, he has only played 23 games this season, but once again, I'm not holding that. I sound like a hypocrite now because I did say that was part of the reason holding Paul George back. Honestly, that wasn't true. Jaylen Brown has just been better than Paul George this year, and Jimmy Butler has also been better than Paul George this year. So, not holding games played against these guys too much, and every time he plays, the Miami Heat just look really good. I really hope he stays healthy the rest of the year. I want to see what he can do for this Miami team, because while other guys are breaking out and having good seasons, he is still very clearly the star of this team, and the dude carrying them into being however good you think they are when they're healthy. So, Jimmy Butler is my number 3 pick for the small forwards list, and at number 2, I have DeMar DeRozan, and I don't think there is a single person, not the most die-hard Chicago Bulls, Toronto Raptors DeRozan fan, whatever, I don't think a single person in the league thought that DeMar DeRozan was going to be a top 10 player and an MVP candidate in this season. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought he was going to be this good. And I thought that it was a good shining for Chicago. I thought he was a good player there. I thought he was going to fit well, not being the number 1 offensive player on a team, playing with Zach LaVine. But instead, he has been the number 1 player. He has been the number 1 playmaker on the team as well while playing with Lonzo Ball. He's averaging 5 assists a game and very few turnovers, 26 points on fantastic efficiency of 49, 35, 85 shooting splits. The 49%, he is having a historic mid-range season while also being very good at getting to the free throw line, and while 35% from 3 on 2 attempts is not a great number for anyone, the fact that DeMar DeRozan is becoming an average 3-point shooter after his entire career being a complete non-threat from 3 is huge. We've seen him hit game winners already. He's arguably the most clutch player in the league this season, only behind maybe Kevin Durant and Nikola Jokic. The man is a monster. He is a monster for the best team in the East, and that is really saying something because Zach LaVine has been really good too, but DeMar DeRozan is clearly so far the best player on this team. What is there to say that hasn't been said? No one shut up about Chicago the whole season. I still don't think they're real contenders, but if they are, if they do have a legitimate title run, it's going to be because DeMar DeRozan is a fantastic scorer, a fantastic playmaker, and one of the most clutch players in the entire NBA. He is going to be the key to Chicago making a deep playoff run. He and also the team's defense, which I don't believe in, but he is not the number 1 small forward on this list, despite the fact that I think he should be the number 1 MVP candidate for a small forward. The best player in the league at the small forward position, and possibly the best player in the league, period, is still LeBron James. This man, every single time I think that he's done, that he's, old, that he's starting to fall off, he comes back and he does some shit like this. What is there to say that hasn't already been said? Probably nothing, but I'm going to repeat it anyway. 29, 7, and 7 are LeBron's stats this season, and that is on 52, 37, 77 shooting splits. And the 37% from 3 is not only good for LeBron James in general, but he's taking 8 threes a game. 8 threes a game on above average shooting for a dude who is the best paint attacker maybe ever. And he's shooting great from 3, still super efficient attacking in general. He's still one of the best playmakers and passers in the league. His defense is very good. People really don't appreciate how good Lakers LeBron James has been on defense. I don't know if he's quite an all-defense guy, but certainly a clear positive on the defensive end. He's just fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. You all know it. And I don't know how this man is so little help. Someone get this man some help, please. I don't even like the Lakers, but you have a player this talented? Get some help around him. Oh my gosh. LeBron James is the best small forward in the league. He's arguably the best player in the league. He is fantastic, and he is the number 1 small forward on my list.